In this video, we will cover the 5 basic bonsai styles. And this is just an overview. In later episodes, we will do deep dives into these 5 styles. So there are approximately 30 recognized styles of bonsai. But these additional 25 styles are, for the most part, variations or combinations of the basic 5. And I strongly encourage everyone to have at least one of these in your collection because each style has unique lessons to be learned. So let's get to it. Number 1, formal upright. Chokan. This is a tree growing straight up, probably the shape that most people think of when asked to visualize what a tree looks like. The main trunk is a vertical line, slowly tapering as it approaches the top. The branches at the bottom are largest because they're the oldest and become smaller the higher they go up. This is a great style as your first tree because it teaches you the basic rules of how bonsai branches should be arranged. Ideally, first branch on one side, second branch on the opposite side, and a third branch that goes towards the back, and repeat as you keep going up. The branches behind are called back branches. They add visual depth to the composition. Number 2, informal upright, Mayogi. So you might be thinking this style looks very similar to a formal upright, and in most aspects it does, except for one, the movement of the main trunk. Whereas the trunk of a formal upright is very linear, right? It goes straight up and down. The trunk of an informal upright has movement to it. This movement adds quite a bit of personality to the tree because it tells the story of a tree that has overcome more difficulty as it has aged. So each branch of a bonsai ends in a cluster of leaves called a pad. The highest pad of a bonsai is called the apex. Think of the apex as the top of a triangle composed of all the pads put together. In an informal upright design, the apex should be directly over the base of the tree, which ends the imbalance of the trunk with stability. Number 3, slanting style, Shakan. The trunk of a slanting style bonsai is dramatically tilted in one direction, implying that this is a tree that has been impacted by gravity, wind, or possibly it's a tree forced to grow at an angle to seek out sunlight. Living in South Florida, I can't help but think of this style as hurricane impacted. And it's a great style to imply hardship, strength, and age. So the main rules of slanting style are: number 1, the trunk should be slanted at 30 to 75 degrees. And number 2, the first branch should grow in the opposite direction of the main trunk. Doing so creates the illusion of balance. Number 4, cascade, Kengai. Arguably the coolest bonsai style and the hardest to create, cascade style bonsais look like a tree growing down an embankment. This style is the least realistic, but still within the realm of possibility in nature. It's due to this rare, if not fantastical appearance that cascades are so eye-catching. So the difficulty in training a tree to grow in this style is because you're forcing a tree to do the exact opposite of what it wants to do, right? It wants to grow towards the sky where the sunlight is best. Pot selection for cascade bonsais do not follow the same rules as other basic styles. For instance, the common ratio is that the width of the pot should be 2/3 the height of the tree. In addition, a pot's height should be the same as the width of the tree at its base. But because of a cascade bonsai's unique shape, a tall, relatively thin pot is required because, as you can see, if we follow these normal pot proportion rules in bonsai, a cascade tree would not look as elegant in a shallow, wide pot. To qualify as a cascade, the lowest branches of this tree must extend beyond the bottom edge of the pot. But doing so would cause the lowest branches to rub against the tabletop and bend the tree out of shape. So because of this, cascade styles must be positioned on the edge of a table and when showing, placed upon a stand. Number 5, semi-cascade, Hankengai. Semi-cascade, like a full cascade bonsai, suggests a tree clinging to a cliffside and battered by centuries of wind. A semi-cascade starts out growing upwards for a bit then takes a dramatic turn to one side and continues in that direction, generally downward for a while, even going back up and twisting around, but never as far down as below the bottom of the pot like the full cascade style trees do. So the rule is the majority of a semi-cascade's branches and pads should lie between the soil level and the bottom of the pot. So remember how I said there were about 30 styles of bonsai, but they're all just variations or combinations of these basic 5 styles? So here's an example. This is a forest composition, but if we take a closer look, it's actually 5 formal upright trees put together. That's what I meant. Look, I'm a firm believer that you can't start breaking the rules until you learn them. So please take the time to learn the basics of bonsai. You'll be happy you did.